Hello and welcome to Bhagavad Gita study. Today we are going to speak about as it is of as it is. So this could be grouped under beginner series because some of us as beginners have had some questions about Bhagavad Gita as it is and Prabhupada's work towards this great spiritual book. Now, one of my I don't know if he's subscribed to this channel or he was just watching, but one of our, let's just say, friends had commented saying, Bhagavad Gita as it is seems like Prabhupada's own view of Gita, and it is not as it is, and it couldn't be Krishna's message in some of those areas where he takes up defending his view on Achintya Beda or the Dvaitic, most of the Dvaitic alignment. He tries to defend it, and then it cannot be just that, right? It cannot be, it could be one of the views, but it cannot be the view, was his argument. And which Bhakti view is not the only view. There are other views to look at the spiritual text. I concur with him. I used to think like this also, that how could someone that's talking about this great philosophy be, in fact, when he defends his view, he also is very, very critical of Mayavadis. He calls Mayavadis. He calls Advaitins Mayavadis, and he's very strict in his views, and he says that the other view is wrong. Now, if you are somebody that is not a Dvaiti, or somebody who does not align with the commentary, how should you reconcile your views with them and still give it a fair chance? Number one thing that I thought I should put it out here is that as it is still as it is, because he says as it is, and it is his as it is. That's the only way he knows to view God and interact with God, and his lineage has taught him. We cannot say that is not as it is. And when we are looking at commentaries from Acharya Purushas, there have been several commentaries on Bhagavad Gita. So many Acharyas have written on this great book, and they have always interpreted with their own personal filter. Now, when you read a commentary from someone that is an Acharya, I'm not talking about so many Westerners have written. Now, everybody who has a book will write a Gita commentary. That's not what I'm talking about. Those people that do not belong to the spiritual world in a formal sense, we are not talking about them. I have not showed, of course I've probably showed one or two Westerners versions too. That's only for entertainment reading, that cannot be used for study. If you are going to study the Gita, it should be an Acharya Purusha, and an Acharya Purusha is defined as someone who has a proper lineage of Vedantic studies that he has already done. And that being the case, when you read something from Ramanuja or Madhusudan Saraswati or Madhvacharya or Shankara or Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, everybody, we should always understand this. These teachers and teachings, they're coming with their own personal filter. They have a philosophy to which they have tied this book and presented it to us. Now, the thing is, we as beginners do not have, I think we have not earned it to say that they are wrong, or they should have called something, or they should have done something and they could have done something. That is not under our purview to say. Only because I used to say this, and I used to think that why is he saying as it is? This is one of the views. But what I've understood from every commentary is that every commentary speaks emphatically and theoretically they actually go to defend their own theories while writing these commentaries. And when you look at Hindu philosophy or Sanatana Dharma's philosophy back then, all these philosophies, including Buddhism, had a formal and sound vada and prativada, which is a debate. There used to be so many debates. Vidyaranya used to do so many debates, and I was taught so much about Madhvacharya that Madhvacharyas won so many debates in Karnataka during that time when his philosophy was being established. Now, if God did not will anything to be diverse, or God did not decide that all these philosophies should coexist, He would have only given us one, isn't it? So, when we read Acharya Purusha's commentaries or take up Bhagavad Gita and start to follow it, we should refrain from saying, oh, you could say, I don't resonate with it, but you cannot say he could have done this, or he should have done this, or he's wrong, or something to that effect. Only because, first of all, I'm going to go into details of what an Acharya Purusha is, how you should reconcile your studies to the commentary that you're reading. So before that, an Acharya Purusha is far more established in his theories and spiritual world than us. So we have not earned the right to say that this person could have done something else. And that applies to somebody like Shankara, Madhvacharya, and Ramanujacharya, Madhusudan Saraswati, and Sridhar Swami, and Prabhupada. And these people come from an original lineage of solid Vedantic knowledge that we cannot say that. However, if we cannot resonate with their work, we are not aligned with their work, we think of it something else, and God is telling us something else, we should accept that and we should go with it. Now, why did God have these many versions? Why did God not have just one version given and say, this is Krishna and I am writing this and I am saying this, you better take this because all the others are going to put their own things on it, and this is what is as it is? Why didn't Krishna say that? Or why didn't that kind of a thing happen? It's because throughout the times in history, if you observe Acharya's life, that's why it's very, very important to read saints and sages' lives before coming into this kind of study of scriptures. Because during the time that Shankara came in, Buddhism was doing very well, and Buddhism was actually denying the presence of God and denying Vedas and denying Upanishads, and that wasn't too good for the betterment of the society as a whole. You can get into Buddhism and start practicing their principles and ahimsa and all that, but for so much to have fanaticism and go and deny Vedas, and some people have burning the scriptures and things like that, so that kind of a thing needed to be stopped. And Shankara's birth happened then, and he established the Panchayatana, or the 5 methods, where Shakta, Ganapatyam, which Shakta is the worship of Divine Mother, worship of Ganapati, worship of Shiva, which is Shaivism, Vaishnavism, and all these 5, Subramanyam, which is worship of Subramanya, who is the Divine Mother's son. So one of the sons out of the 2 sons. So these things were brought back and established properly by Shankara. He had a role and he had a life mission to fulfill, which was by God's design. God has sent him to do this. Similarly, at the time when Prabhupada was here in the United States and in India, so much was disintegrating and there was so much of drugs and everything. He brought back so many people to Sanatana Dharma. He did not even just bring back, he brought a whole lot of people from West also into it. Swami Vivekananda, he made others turn around and look at what Eastern philosophies were. They all had a life's mission. We couldn't say Swami Vivekananda should have said this or could have done that. We cannot do that, because they all had a life mission, and according to what the society is moving towards, God had given them a purpose. Maybe Advaita was not the right thing to do when Madhva had come, because using Advaita, many had started to proclaim they were God, and there were so many false things happening. So Madhva came around to say, hey, listen, Sriman Narayana is the Tattva, he is the eternal, he is the reality. Everything else, all of us, we are just not even parts and parcels. We are just another entity who were created by the eternal reality, Sriman Narayana. That was probably needed at that time. So Acharya Purushas come with a specific lineage and a specific purpose to fill. That being the case, when we read their works and if we don't resonate with their teachings, we can always hold on to our own, beliefs and everything. But the point here is to establish a super good connection with God. And if it helps you do that, you have to hold on to that commentary or switch to another commentary. But this video is just about As It Is by Swami Prabhupada. When you look at Swami Prabhupada's work, number one thing that you're going to look at is his lineage. He has a proper lineage, proper Vaishnavic lineage. It has been established. It's not something that Gaudiya Math is also a proper lineage. It comes from if you trace back them, it has an authentic beginning. So when he has taken initiation from a proper lineage and has given us this work, we should definitely treat it as in par with everything else that we respect. So if you do not resonate with some of those parts, where I also do not resonate with calling Advaitins Mayavadis, and then they're just renouncing the world, saying it's unreal, it's not good. So that's his thing. But I have gained so much from Bhagavad Gita as it is. I cannot for a minute deny its potency in putting you back into bhakti path. And for all practical purposes, whatever you believe, you may believe you are God, which is true in one sense. You may believe that Advaita is only real philosophy, which may be true. We don't know. We haven't attained the Nirvikalpa Samadhi or something Samadhi to see if those things are real or not. So if you may believe that, but for this day and age, bhakti is the only sustainable path. If something brings you back to bhakti with a real potency, you must hold on to it. So, lineage, we have a strong reason why as it is as it is. Alignment with rishis and saints. His messages are not deviating from alignment with rishis and saints and authentic teachers from the Sanatana Dharma. So somebody who's speaking very, very supportive of bhakti is always going to be supported, because bhakti is Vaishnava philosophy. Vaishnava philosophy is in alignment with the rishis, and Vedavyasa himself is Krishna's own reflection. We say Vedavyasa and Krishna are the same. So he has given bhakti related Bhagavatam to us. So we should definitely respect as it is, as it is. His as it is, nevertheless, but it is as it is. Other contributions in spiritual world and world in general. When you read a commentary, if it is an Acharya Purusha, you will see that this person has also contributed so much for spiritual world. For example, I was out in the market to buy Bhagavatam. And trust me, I did solid 1 year research to see and who has all the verses completely translated in a satisfactory form where it would reach us and it would turn us towards Lord. I'm telling you, I bought some of those cantos that other authors have, and not everybody has translated all the cantos. First of all, there are some 84,000, I forget how many verses, but I'm only in the second canto of Bhagavatam. All the cantos have not been translated by everybody. So the only author that has personally translated at the age of 84 is when he began all this, or probably late in his 70s, but very, very ripe age. He finished all the verses in Bhagavatam. All the cantos have been translated to so many languages. And this is a complete contribution to the society. If Bhagavatam is going to people's hands, that's it, that this person definitely has been guided by Lord and nobody else. Plus, he has kept the message intact, and he has also brought back so many people, drug addicts and homeless people, into his fold. And today, if there is still things, scriptures in other countries being sold and being read by people, ISKCON is supposed to be the reason right now at this age. Of course, Vivekananda started it, Ramakrishna Mission was all on pioneer and all that, and before that Paramahamsa Yogananda also came here. I'm not denying their contributions, but at this point in time, something that is potent and something that's equal to all the Bible distribution and other things that goes on in other religions, something to that effect. There is one organization that's doing it with utmost passion. It is ISKCON. So to the world in itself, Swami Prabhupada's contributions are completely not ignorable. You cannot turn around and say, oh, this is nothing. Absolutely not. It's a huge, 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 huge plus to Sanatana Dharma. So that's one more thing why you would definitely embrace as it is. And own personal experience after reading the commentary, that's also something that you have to take. I'm talking only in terms of Bhagavad Gita as it is, but apply this concept to any commentary you read. What is the lineage of that person who's written the commentary? Is he in alignment with the rishis and saints? Is he denying the fact of Vedas and Upanishads? Is he quoting Upanishads and saying that is false? Then you will not touch it. You shouldn't be going ahead. And what is this person contributed towards spiritual world in general? Is this person full of love? Well, Prabhupada had so much love, and he was very passionate about his concepts, and he did not budge a single inch. However, when he dealt with people, I've read so much about him, how much of love he has for, he would provide food, whatever he ate. He always offered and gave it away, and he always shared. And that kind of contribution to the society is something we should be looking for in that commentator. And then own personal experience. If you read a commentary and it sees red flags in you and says this is not, definitely this is so much of their own cultural mixing in this, and I will not be able to touch this, then that is a red flag. You shouldn't continue reading that commentary, definitely not be using it for study. But Bhagavad Gita as it is has taken me to bhakti and just planted my soul in bhakti very, very firmly. And after reading Bhagavad Gita as it is, not only did my study take a very, very solid shape, it also turned into much more passion to dig more commentaries and read more of Gita and be in contact with the Lord's words all the time. So if your own personal experience is very pleasant and leading you towards bhakti, more and more strong bhakti, definitely that commentary comes from Lord. It is driven and directed by Lord. There are reasons why you would resonate with Shankara's commentary or somebody else's commentary. That could be okay. But when you read a commentary and before you say that, no, these are the things you should gauge it against with, is what I think. The first thing that I ever read was not Srila Prabhupada's. It was something else, which from Ramakrishna Math, from Nikhilananda's. But my formal study happened only in Bhagavad Gita as it is by Srila Prabhupada. I will never be able to say anything negative about it, even though there are concepts within which I do not resonate much. I have the entire Bhagavatam cantos from him. I am continuing my studies. I'm on the second canto. Definitely, I will not let go of these versions, and these versions always I go back to. Every now and then I go back to them. Whenever I needed more and more faith, I do go back to this version too. And hope you find something useful for the beginner series from this. And I will meet you soon with another video. Hope your studies continue. Hope you hold on to Gita very strongly, We let Lord bestow all his blessings on all of us. Bye bye.